This is going to be your ultimate guide to the FIRE movement. And let me be crystal clear. I hate the FIRE movement. I am the host of the Early Retirement Podcast, and I do not like the FIRE movement. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to show you 2 examples today. You might be with me, you might not be, but I make these videos so that you guys can get real clear as to whether working is truly optional and you're doing it because you want to, not because you have to, or if there's something you need to adjust, whether it's saving more money, spending less money, looking at tax strategy, whatever it is. I am just all about making sure you don't retire too early and run the risk of running out, or work too long, which is a real risk as well, with you being 60 going, hey, I've got 10 million bucks now. That's not as valuable to me. I wish I retired earlier because I feel like I have plenty of money. With that being said, here's my point. If you don't know what the FIRE movement is, or if you have a lot of familiarity with it, this is still hopefully going to resonate for you. So the FIRE movement stands for Financial Independence Retire Early. And the reason I don't like the movement, I like the purpose behind it, but I don't like the movement. And there's a difference there. It's like when someone says simple but not easy. It's very simple to like this concept of financial independence, retire early. I want to retire early. I don't want to work forever. I want financial independence. And that's me saying it right here. I like what I do, but I still want financial independence, like I would argue most of you. But here's the risk. The risk is, and I'm going to show you a real case study of this. The risk is you do something some people are doing where they work one job and then they get a second job and then they don't work out anymore. They don't prioritize their health. They don't hang out with friends or family because that's taken away from the saving more money. And then what happens is they're 40 years old with $1 million going, hey, maybe I don't need to work anymore because I saved a ton of money. Yeah, I didn't spend time with family and friends and prioritize my health, but who cares? I don't have to work anymore. And now they're like, hey, I don't know what I actually want to do for the rest of my life. So from 40 to 100, they're like, hey, I don't have to work, but now my health has been sacrificed. I don't have the relationships I thought I would have. So I don't like this movement because of that reason. I like the movement concept, which is why I made up my own definition, which is not financial independence, retire early. I prefer financial independence, recreational employment. Are you working because you want to or because you have to? And my goal is to like what I do for so long, I never have to retire. But I'm a human. I'm not a robot. What if politics change? What if the business changes? And for whatever reason, I don't like it anymore. Don't think that's ever going to happen, but you just don't know. And because of that not knowing, I do believe in making sure that you are saving for retirement, because there might be a day, I just get so choked up about this. There might be a day you don't want to work any longer, and I want you to be able to walk away if you don't like your boss or political environment or whatever it is. With that being said, let me show you 2 important things. Please know everything I'm going to show today is for educational and fun and information purposes, that there is absolutely no financial advice. This is not to be construed as advice in any way. Please consult an advisor, a tax attorney, a estate attorney, tax preparer, tax planner, if you are executing any of these strategies. Once again, no financial advice. You can see the disclosure here. I am going to be showing some Monte Carlo simulations and other things of this manner. So there's a real case study, but I've changed the names. As always, no past performance guarantees future performance. You guys know this by now, but important to say. So I'm going to show you someone really important. Look at this right here. This person is 39 years old today. They are a pre-retiree. They're a real person. I just changed their names. They don't hate their job, but they were like, hey, could I maybe stop working at 43? And that was what they came to me with. They had seen a few of my videos and they said, hey, I've been following some different FIRE podcasts, but yours just feels a little different because it's less of like, yeah, actually, please, how quick can we stop working? And yours is more of a longevity thing. So I was intrigued by it. So he reached out. And these are the assets he's working with. And this is not to make you feel good or feel bad. This is just the reality. I actually think this is bad, and I'm going to explain why. But here's someone who's got north of $1 million. He has a healthy superhero account. That's what I call a brokerage account, nearly $500,000. He has a 401k with $600,000 and an inherited IRA with $1 million. You know what we call that? The lucky sperm and egg club. I know it's silly. I'm weird. Okay, so get over it. So with that being said, this person doesn't have a mortgage because they paid it off. So this is someone that's clearly saved and invested really well, worked really hard, and I would argue may have underspent the last 10 years. I'm not saying they're living off eggs and top ramen, but could have been somewhere close because they want to save and invest and they do not like what they do for a living, which is sad. And so when I'm talking to clients about any situation, before we hop into the finances, I really need to know, hey, look, if I made you, you have to work the next job you're in right now for 5 years, or you have to stop working forever right now. What would you do? And they're like, well, I can't stop working forever, so I guess I have to do this for the next 5 years. And I see their head go like that. If it drops down, that tells me something. Some people go, well, I'm probably going to do something, and this job's not miserable, so yeah, I guess I'd work 5 more years. I go, well, that's a different answer. They both said they're going to work 5 more years, but their tone is very different, and that is my job to read between the lines there. So the point here is I'm reading between the lines. This person's got a $2 million net worth. His ego might feel good because his friends and coworkers don't have $2 million. But look, and by no means am I here to say everyone needs to have a partner or spouse or kids. I'm not here to do any of that. But here's someone that's almost 40 years old, and I wish you guys could see the person. Maybe I'll ask them to come on the show in the future, but they really are not happy in life because they are working a job they do not enjoy, and they make a healthy income. So you can see he's making $185,000 a year, but I would argue he doesn't need to do that. And I said, hey, would there maybe be a job that pays you way less, but you enjoy it more? And he's like, I don't really know yet, to be honest. And I said, okay, let's talk about that. So lots of different things to go along this that we'll discuss, but here's the whole point. If this person stopped working right now forever, which is not what he's saying, stopped working at 43, so in 4 years, 3 years really, you can see he would run out of money by 72. Why is that the case? Well, he has about $1 million. He's actually 38, not 39, Money grows quickly, and then it gets depleted too quickly. There's no Social Security helping out. There's no other income, and he might need income for like 50 years. So what some people do is go, well, yeah, but like I'm going to take this person just as an example. He wants to spend $7,500 a month. Now, does he really want to spend $7,500 every month throughout retirement? No, because he can't project out the next 60 years of his life, 50 years. You just can't do that. So I said, hey, let's think about this, but I want to make sure we at least have a base here. You don't need to get it perfect, but I need to have some figure to play around with. And by the way, if you guys want to use this tool that I'm showing you right now, let me be clear. There's no one-on-one guidance. I don't want you expecting you're going to get a call from me or someone on my team. This is a do-it-yourself $300. You go through, build your own plan. It's the same software I use for clients that I'm showing you right now. So it's in the description of this episode. If you want to, some people get it and they play around with it at the same time I show you these things. That might be helpful for you. So with that being said, we had a conversation and we said, hey, it sounds like $6,000 a month allows you to meet your basics, meaning you get to still, do what you want to do. You don't have a mortgage anymore, but $72,000 a year is like, you're not excited, but you could do it. Is that right? They go, that's right. I said, look at this. Instead of you spending $7,500 a month, you told me on the basics you could spend $6,000. And he's like, wait a second. So I could still retire in 4 years if I wanted to? And I said, yeah, you certainly could. There'd be $2 million left over instead of running out at 71. And he's like, well, that's a huge difference. And I said, the point of why I showed you this exercise, I'm just going to call him John, is because I know you could get by on $6,000 a month because you told me you've been able to get by on that and you've been saving a lot of money. Retirement is not about getting by with something or getting away with something. That is my pet peeve. When people say, I think I could get away with spending $6,000 a month in retirement. I'm like, I'm sure you could. That's not the point of this. The point is not to get by or get away with it. And I said, how much would you love to spend? And he said, to be honest, if I'm like living big, all in $9,000 a month. I said, that's awesome. I want you to do that. It's $108,000 a year. Is that right? He goes, to be honest, I don't think I'm going to need that amount, but $100,000 a year is great. I said, awesome. You're going to run out of money at 60. He said, why is that awesome? I said, because I want to find a job that you enjoy, that you might actually do for longer. Let's assume I found you a job that allowed you to work, let's call it 10 more years, but it doesn't pay you $185,000. It only pays you $100,000. And he was not happy. He's like, that's a big decrease in my income. I go, oh, I know it is, but it helps. Look, now you're making way less money. You're still making a good amount of money, but to spend $9,000 a month, you told me that's the most, you probably don't even think you could spend that. If we put this on $8,000 a month, that's $96,000 a year. Well, that's getting us not to 90, but it's starting to make us think a little differently. So why am I showing you guys this? I want you to play around with the trade-offs to understand the FIRE movement in more detail, which is I want to tell you when you are working because you want to, not because you have to. So if I were to talk to this person, I'd say, look, Do you think you could find something for $80,000 a year that you might like? He might go, yeah. And I go, you're probably going to want to do something. Well, what if, for example, you work till 60? And I knew he was like, I don't want to hear work until 60. And I go, look, why am I showing you this? Because I don't want you to work till 60 because you're going to have $2 million and maybe you don't want to die with $2 million. So here's an alternative. Why don't you spend way less? And there's someone out there called Mr. Money Mustache. If you don't know him, he talks about an early retirement and he lives off of $35,000 a year. I don't really like his movement because he encourages a lot of people like this person to go, look, you don't need to work until 60. Look at this. You're going to have $6 million, $5 million. Why don't you stop working at 43 or 40? Come on, you could do it. And he could do it. This person could do it. Look, he's still going to have $3 million. But does $4,000 a month really allow him to live the life he wants to live? Does that include maybe getting massages or physical therapy or planning for kids' education or you name it? And so the reason I struggle with this is here's someone that if this person came to me and said, I want to spend $4,000 a month, $50,000 a year, that really is going to allow me to do everything I want to do. I'd say, great. Why are you still working right now? Like, I will be that transparent. Other times I'll say, look, that sounds good, but maybe what if it turns out you want to spend more than that and you go retire? Now you have to go back to work and you can't get the same job you wanted and you realize you actually like that job more than you thought, but you actually felt you didn't like the job because you had to be there. But now you realize you don't have to be there because of that. Turns out you actually like it more. And because of this, you have a little bit more leeway, or should I say leverage, to go to your boss or manager and say, hey, I'm not going to work Fridays. Would that be okay? They might go, no, company policy. They might go, yes, you can work Monday through Thursday, but you're not going to make $185,000 a year. You're going to make $125,000 a year. Awesome. Well, I now would go to this person and say, look, you're on track for $4.7 million. Do you want that? And they might go, no. I'd say, great. Then maybe you could spend $6,000 a month. And my goal would be trying to get this person to get real clear. Well, $6,000 a month is having them run out at 82, and you don't want to be close to running out. That is not a fun life. $5,000 a month, that is $60,000 a year. Well, now you can see that's $2.2 million left over. What did I do? All I did was shift $5,000 to $6,000 a month. Vice versa. So the point here is all of these different variables, these play big roles in your plan. So this is the first thing I really wanted to show you guys. This is the other thing I wanted to show you. So this is a checklist of things that I want you to consider before you actually go retire. Now, retire, just hearing that word, a lot of you are going to do part-time income. A lot of you are going to go in here and go, well, I'm not going to have traditional work. I'm going to make $30,000 a year selling stuff on Etsy. Or I'm actually going to plan on inheritance. Or my spouse is still going to work, but I'm not. So it's not like this is a traditional retirement. This is just getting you to think about everything so you don't go, I forgot to think about this before I quit my job, and I don't want you to do that. This is inside the academy, as well as about 100 other checklists. So some people sign up for this just for the checklist. So you're going to see in here lots of different questions. How are your cash flow needs going to change? Are you going to have a pension? Social Security, do you want to plan for it at all? Where are you going to pull income from? Are you going to use the rule of 55? Are you currently married? Were you ever divorced? Just are you concerned about funding long-term care? What about life insurance? What if you get disabled? Are you using an HSA? Where's insurance going to come from before Medicare? Everything from long-term planning issues to charitable issues to stock options, grants, RSUs, deferred comp. Are you going to move in retirement? What state are you going to live in? Any RMDs? So this is going to do like the catch-all, and that's the goal of what that's for. So hopefully that's helpful for you guys, because I want to make sure you once again retire early with total confidence. And for a lot of you, you might go, you know what? This really has opened my eyes. I don't know if I do want to retire early. I just want a different job. My hope is that a lot of you, before you do go retire, go, wow, yeah, I actually am going to think differently about this. And maybe I'm going to find a job that pays me way less than right now, but either has more potential in the future or doesn't have more potential financially, but I just like it more. Because I like it more, I might do it for longer. So hopefully this episode was helpful. If it made you think a little differently, please let me know in the comments, because I love getting to do this. That's it for this video. I'll see you guys next time.